The director of the National Institutes of Health is weighing in on why Americans stopped trusting public health. Dr. Bhattacharya joined Face the Nation to discuss the issue. Listen to why he says the COVID pandemic is where it all started.
The kinds of decisions and sort of the public face of public health during the pandemic led to many people losing trust in public health.
The Trump administration officials.
No, I mean like Biden. So Biden, for instance,
the
censored
pandemic
me.
began under the Trump administration.
But just so we're clear, the Biden administration censored me. Right? They sent out direct attacks on people who disagreed on the COVID, on sort of whether the COVID vaccine stopped it.
RFK Jr. called the COVID vaccine the deadliest vaccine ever made. That is misinformation, and we're not being clear about that. And I think that is dangerous.
People lost
Wouldn't
their
you
jobs,
agree?
Margaret, because the Biden administration censored people. That distrust was not caused by President Trump. It wasn't caused by Bobby. It was caused by a lot of sort of really fundamentally, but often spread by the government itself regarding natural immunity, closure of schools, closures of mask mandates.
All right, let's talk more about this. CBS News medical correspondent and editor-at-large for public health at KFF Health News, Dr. Céline Gounder joins us right now. Hey, Dr. Gounder. So Bhattacharya says the loss of trust started with 2020. Is he right?
Well, vaccination mandates, which didn't come until 2021, those did cost some people their jobs, and long stretches of remote school did real damage. So you have 9-year-olds who lost 5 points in reading, 7 in math on the national assessment. And that was the first math decline we've seen in the test's history. School closures have a lot of people unhappy, angry. It's important to remember the timeline here. Governors and local school districts closed the schools in spring of 2020, which was under President Trump. That was not a decision made by the president or the federal government. And then that fall, it was really up to the school districts themselves to decide if they wanted to reopen. Right. By the time President Biden took office, so this is 2021 now, 38% of fourth graders were already back in the classroom full time. And then what really shifted things, got the most kids back into the classroom, was when the CDC reduced the minimum distance between students from 6 feet to 3 feet. That happened on March 19th, 2021. So about 2 months after President Biden came into office.
Yeah, very important to have all that context there. We also heard him there say the Biden administration censored him. Any evidence behind that claim?
Well, the document at the center of his complaint is dated October 8th, 2020. Dr. Francis Collins, who was then director of the NIH, the role that Dr. Bhattacharya has now, he emailed Dr. Anthony Fauci and he said, we need a quick and devastating published takedown of the Great Barrington Declaration, which Dr. Bhattacharya co-wrote. But that really means a scientific rebuttal. President Trump was president at the time. Dr. Bhattacharya sued, but he could not prove that the government had in fact censored him. And he also says people lost their jobs because of censorship, but they actually lost their jobs because of mandate. So he's confusing two different stories. As I said, Dr. Bhattacharya runs the NIH now. He ordered a review of every NIH grant when he came into his office. Staff have been running grants through a text analysis tool that flags terms that are out of line with the administration's policies. So if yours gets flagged, no more money moves until NIH says that's been fixed. And Dr. Bhattacharya says there's no banned word list, but 4 agencies, including NIH, have given the courts the lists of words they use to cut grants. More than 700 NIH grants have had their titles changed in the last year to strip some of these words like equity. In a survey of 280 scientists, more than half said they'd gone back and adjusted the keywords in a proposal. And now, under a new rule under the White House Office of Management and Budget, political appointees would sign off on every grant and scientific review would only be advisory. So this rule would make the kind of censorship we've been seeing this past year permanent.
Okay, Dr. Céline Gounder, appreciate you helping us understand that and the full context behind it all. Thank you.